Morning, ET. Remember last year, last game of the year where the Jaguars went to Nashville, play the Titans, and the path was simple: win and you're in, lose and you're out. Remember that? Remember the feeling you had as a fan? That angst that you felt, that nervousness, that knowledge that it, at the end of 17 long regular season weeks after, countless more days that you spent both in the preseason and bye weeks and everywhere else, but it all just came down to that. So you remember like that nervous energy that you had, that we had as a fan base?
I remember.
Remember that? That's where Hicken and I are today with baseball. That's where we are. I bring in a football analogy to bring up that baseball story to distract myself from the just sheer disappointment. That's what's settled in now. Listen, if you showed up today, if you paid your money to hear the rant, I don't have it in me. I got the energy in me. I do. I don't have the passion in me for it, though. I don't have that. Man, so disappointing. I didn't see this. I knew they had 4 tough ones. I knew there was bound to be some carryover from a year ago. The Chargers taught me that. That was always my red flag there. Boy, the Chargers never recovered from what happened in that one game. Boy, the Chargers never recovered. Remember last year, the Chargers had all those opportunities early in the year to win games. Their coach kept going for it on his own side. Ultimately, he was fired, middle of the year, and the Chargers indeed never recovered from at least seemingly from that collapse here. Now, our collapse was longer and more sustained, and look, I've always said this: injuries can be a reason or they can be an excuse. And boy, what I took for certain as reason feels more like excuse. And I trusted the Trevor Lawrence that I had seen at the end of the 2022 season, the playoff run, and the 8-3 start. I trusted that 20-game window that was producing a top 5 to 10 passer, 300-yard passing games, big plays and big moments, opportunities taken advantage of. That guy's not around right now, whatever the reason is. As is natural with an 0-4 football team, there's plenty to blame to go around week to week to week. If we want to break it down and parse it out to the percentage of responsibility for our disappointment and for their loss, man, we got lots of culprits week to week. I mean, literally, you could pick out one single guy to go to the week. Why? However you want to do it. It's all you're left with at 0-4, right? It's been hard for me to leave a game saying if this one guy had done this, that, or the other, they'd have won the game. And I left yesterday's game knowing that they didn't win the game because the quarterback didn't deliver in some key spots when he was given opportunity. He was given opportunity yesterday. When he wasn't and the rush was there, that happens in the NFL. He escaped and got out of trouble, avoided turnovers. But he also yesterday, I thought more than any other game this year, had a clean pocket and some time. And most of the time that translated. On the underneath routes, on the medium depth routes, no complaints. But, buddy, in the National Football League, when you get a clean pocket and you get dudes wide open deep, and understand this, 2 yards is wide open. When you have no other complaint, no other reason, no excuse, you got to drop those balls in there and get those scores. That's what the difference makers do. There are 60 schmoes carrying clipboards that can miss the throw. Plenty of guys, past, present, and future, that can almost hit them. Nuh-uh. The difference makers, the closers, got to hit those throws. And I can find, and we will, as we go through. I think now, this is going to kind of be the method of attack here for what is now 13 games remaining on every big goal, every highest hope that you have just been absolutely torpedoed here before we leave the month of September. I think we almost have to go week to week and just look at that component and what happened. And we got lots of what happened yesterday. But first and foremost, that's a game. Listen, I think it was said at some point last week, and I still am in this camp. Overall, yesterday, a glaring example, though, of plays that were there with no excuses, open to be made, and they weren't made. And they're especially more egregious when the offense outside of that isn't productive enough on the scoreboard, at least. And so it's a narrow loss. It points to pick apart. There are issues that just continue to show themselves, right? The pass rush just not there, and then they lost Josh Hines-Allen, but maybe we lost him game 2. I don't know. I haven't been a lot of Josh Hines-Allen this year to begin with, but with him out, not in there, C.J. Stroud just had all day. You can't give a dude all day to just float around back there and find really good receivers that seem to find pockets in our defense pretty easily when they're given 7 seconds. I mean, I can't blame a secondary for, getting vulnerable after all that time. So just no pass rush, no game plan dialed up to get to the quarterback in any other way than the down lineman, it seems. It's just, it's hard. But even with that, the defense fought. They did enough. More than enough. Still can't get a turnover. Still can't get to the quarterback. It's amazing they only had 17 at the end of the game. No, the offense left a lot out there. My guy's just never going to take the points, is he? He's just never going to do it. Up 20-17. Now, look, I almost want to pause and come back and hop into just it's a little thing. I don't think I'm the only one that noticed it. I'm sure if I were on social media, y'all had at least a conversation about this. The Jaguars are up 20-17. It's the end of the third quarter. Tank Bigsby busts off a long run, doesn't he? Man, I knew when he didn't get in there. I was like, oh, gosh, can't we just get it in there? But he gets it to what, about the 2-3 yard line,
Yeah, he was up there.
Yeah,
it was 3 yard line.
2-3 yard line. We got it first and goal. Maybe it's the 4 even.
Right.
It seems like that's sticking in my head. If there's one area of this playbook / play calling / execution that we got to be last in the league, it's first and goal inside the 5. It just seems to be the darndest deal for us, okay? Anyway, so Bigsby lumbers down the sideline. Now, as he finished that run, did it feel like he ran out of gas a little?
Absolutely.
It felt like he ran out of gas a little.
Yes.
Now, why in the world would you send that guy to the huddle, wait for it, and hand the ball off to him not once, but twice in a row?
2 times.
Why? Yeah, ETN is, by the way, playing well again at this point. He got trucked on a block, hurt his shoulder early in the game. And my man got trucked.
Yeah, he did.
But like that, so maybe that's not play calling, but it's like situational awareness.
It's like they were trying to reward him.
It's dumb.
Reward the team, man.
Bring ETN in, run those same 2 plays. We may have scored a touchdown. Or switch it up there. And then again, Doug had a good point yesterday. Got testy with the media a little bit, or tense. And I get it. Doug Peterson, that is a ridiculous question. He was asked yesterday in the postgame, are you worried about your job status?
Come on.
He's like, come on, man. Why? He's like, his face gets all twisted and contorted. Like, I mean, is that a serious question? That's fair. We're 4 games in, y'all. This isn't like social media fantasy football, armchair GM. We just willy-nilly change coaches and quarterbacks and, come on. And again, and then he got a little bit testy, did Peterson. He got a little defensive when asked about the play calls, and he's right. The play calling was fine yesterday. The only terrible play call was the quarterback draw. I didn't like that one bit. I didn't like going for it, so if that's a play call, that's more of a coach's decision. I didn't like that. Get the points, man. Just like Andy Reid did a week ago in Atlanta. Same situation almost. Take that 6-point lead. Make them get a touchdown to beat you. It could change how they do things. We give up too many big plays 3rd and long, don't we? I think that came, though, from no pressure. But anyway, I don't – it would be cliche and uninformed to talk today about the play calling. That's not a story today. The play calling yesterday was fine. The execution was pretty good. They missed a couple of long ones. Trevor was pretty sharp other than that. My point is that you guys want to key in, and it's fair on big play, difference, or generate, whatever the term is, hits those long ones, man. They do. The good one, the really good ones around the league are dropping those balls in. They're not last second throwing it 2 yards too long. But back to the point, I digress. The play calling yesterday was fine. The execution wasn't great. It wasn't that play call, though, that series of play calls, first and goal inside the 4, not subbing for Biggs, that was not good play calling. That wasn't. But that's one little minor excerpt from an overall game. Overall, play calling, offensive, it just don't score. I mean, I felt like it hit me too hard. I haven't even done the typical dive into the stat sheet. I don't need to look and see what the third down conversions were or, what the time of possession was. I know from watching, the problem with the game yesterday was that the Jaguars can't get to the pass rusher. And so C.J. Stroud had 150 more passing yards than he would have had against a defense that was pressuring him. I mean, did you think Stroud was, awesome yesterday, E?
I think the combination of him to was
Nico Collins, yeah.
That was, but he wasn't like a world
No,
beater.
and he had a guy wide open back of the end zone, sailed it 2 feet over his head. He had a guy right out in the flat on a third down and threw. I mean, mistakes are going to happen. These guys aren't perfect. When you're really struggling, you need them to be that much more. Brian Thomas emerging, as that alpha number one it's nice to see, but really it's half the production that the Texans got between Stroud and Collins. Stroud and Collins, 12 for 151 in a score. Lawrence and Thomas, a good day, 686 in a score. Christian Kirk showed up. Look, again, it felt like the offense moved the ball yesterday. It felt like the play calling, I thought, overall was pretty good. It feels like our third downs are killing. Let's see. I'm without looking, I'm going to say, let's go now to these key markers that show you. For number one, as usual, is turnovers. We got one yesterday. Doesn't count. Muffed a punt. You still haven't taken the ball away. They gave you one on a muffed punt. We still don't have a turnover. 4 games. So that's going to jump out. They were good on third down because C.J. Stroud had a day and a half to throw. We were terrible on third down. That I think I'm going to find. I think, and because of that, we're going to find that Houston, as every team has this year, is going to run more plays than we did yesterday. It feels like the time of possession wasn't super different yesterday, does it?
No, I don't feel
All
like
right, so let's see what we got here. Let's see if we hit them. I'll come back. I'll let you hear the testing. You guys like that, right? The drama. I'll let you hear the testiness in the postgamer yesterday. Let's see. Third downs. Yeah, Jags 4 for 12. Texans 7 for 13. And the 4 for 12 is really worse because you were 0 for 1 on 3. Total plays, yeah, close, not super disparate. 68-58, but they did run more plays. Where am I looking for? Yeah, no turnovers for the Jags. That was a good day. Here's another one. And this adds to all their yardage total and their time possession and their plays run. Man, the Houston felt like they got a penalty every other play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 12 times they were penalized yesterday. So that leads to some of these. And, yeah, there you go. They had the time possession 33-26. So that all matched up. But at the end of the day, were big play opportunities there for the quarterback to couldn't make them yesterday. Play calling, not really an issue to me, except for that first and goal inside the 5. And the primary thing there was more situational maybe than play calling. How do you leave Bigsby in when he's already running out of gas on the play before? I just don't understand that. I mean, that's just that one's bad. And bottom line, 0-4. So we're going to have to compartmentalize here for a couple months and just go week to week. Forget big picture or what's next, anything else. The Colts come to town next week. Most likely it looks like now with Joe Flacco. We'll get into that more with the football fix. But come back on the other side. I'll let you hear from the postgame. It starts to run together at this point, doesn't it? This is the drill. It's the Monday Morning Quarterback. Divorce Smith only. 1010XL.com.
Hey, Mia here, and thanks so much for watching 1010XL Jaguars. For even more coverage of the Big Cats, be sure to subscribe to 1010XL Jaguars.